but you're never really prepared for growth. Honestly, I have been complaining over the years about how difficult farming is, but when I look at the things that I've learned because of the difficulties, it has really grown me into becoming a more strategic and a more resilient and strong farmer at a young age. So I wouldn't say that I'm prepared for commercial farming, but I think whatever I face when I get there is probably going to shape me into being a better farmer and entrepreneur.
Sine, welcome. It's good to have
Thank
you.
you for having me.
Sine, who are you? Where are you? What do you do?
Uh, my name is Sinethemba Masinga, and I'm a small-scale farmer based in KZN, which is a rural area located in KwaZulu-Natal, South Africa. And yeah, I've just been farming ever since I could be able to pick up a hoe and some garden tools. I've been farming. So yeah, that's my short introduction.
And how big is your farm?
I'm running a small scale business right now. It's just 1.5 hectares. Um, but that gives me a lot of advantage when it comes to being able to farm sustainably. There's a lot of sustainable practices that we currently doing on our small farm. But even though the operation is so small, we are able to supply formal retail markets, which has been really good for our business and cash flow.
And what sort of produce are you farming?
Uh, So we're really deep in vegetable production. Right now, we are planting red groundnuts. We're still preparing the soil to plant some spinach and cabbage for the winter season. So yes, those are some of the commodities that we're currently doing. But this year, we really want to experiment with more like carrots and green peppers.
And is it different every year what you decide to plant? Do you have a certain cyclical schedule? Does the market determine what you do?
Yeah. Honestly, at first we were not controlled by the market, but ever since I took over the family business, I really just came home and we switched from indigenous vegetables, and wanted fresh produce, stuff that the market needs almost weekly. And I saw that we're really making good numbers when it comes to red groundnuts and spinach. I could say those are the staples because they've just been doing so well for us, even at such a small scale. So I think those are the two favorites. And yes, and then the rest follows actually. I would I wouldn't say the market controls us, but we do plant on certain seasons because the market does ask us. Because, for example, red crown nuts would be in demand like for the entire year, but planting them in winter with so much little rain would be a risk for some farmers. But we still do it, and we managed to do it. And the numbers in winter are so good because a lot of farmers consider this a risk. So you can actually determine the price. The market doesn't determine the price because they really want the produce. They don't have it anyway. So yeah.
Farming's a little bit of a risk, I think, for any of the farmers that I've talked to. They're always a little bit concerned about the weather, even when they're doing something that's a little bit more predictable. And so you're willing to take risk in order to capitalize on your market. And that's good. That's bold. Um, so Sine, tell me, how'd you become a farmer? How did this happen for you?
Oh man, it's been in the family for generations, and I always say that I've been so blessed. And um yes, I've just been so blessed to grow up under such conditions. It's just never been a business for them. It's just been our way of life. So my family is just really, really rooted in agriculture. Not it. We really think we've really thought of even expanding now, because it's so vast. There's a lot of opportunities here. There's a lot of money to be made, even though it's expensive, but there's a lot of money to be made. We're thinking of just expanding and adding more chickens because at first it was just homestead. It was like a homesteading type of experiment, but now we see that it's doing well, you know, because when you have a chicken, you have eggs. You can even sell the chicken as meat, you know. So it's just been something that's like it's like a hobby for them. It's just that the hobby is very strenuous physically and it's expensive. But yeah, it's just been our way of life, and I've just been so blessed to grow up in this environment because it has really shaped me into a very different person, a very different person.
So you were playing on the farm whenever you were a little kid and that sort of thing.
Yeah, definitely something like that, like that. I don't remember my parents ever having an actual job. They've just been self-employed all my life. Got us through school, got us through university and college with my brother. It's yeah, it's just been like that. But I would say that I really, really knew that I was passionate about agriculture when I was a teenager, around 14, 15. That's when I knew that I really just want to do agriculture. But my parents were so set on me pursuing a degree, you know, and getting a qualification because farming is just so risky, and they've seen how expensive it's been over the years that I've been doing it. So they really just wanted me to have something that I could fall back on, a plan B sort of. So yes, I pursued a BSc, but I think I just always knew where my passion lies, you know, just been always there. Yeah.
And what is a BSc?
Oh, sorry, Bachelor of Science. A Bachelor of Science.
And what subject did you study specifically?
At uni, it was a Bachelor of Science in Life and Earth Sciences. I was majoring in biochemistry and microbiology at the University of UKZN. Sorry, University of KwaZulu-Natal. Yes, which is based in South Africa.
Well, certainly, that's a good fallback for somebody who wants to be a farmer. I'm sure that you acquired some knowledge and that experience that's helped you think about the way your farm runs and how to keep things growing properly.
Mm, definitely. There's a lot of what people don't know is that I've come across a lot of people that say that farming is just so easy, you know, it's just like gardening. It's gardening on a bigger scale, on a larger scale. It's not really that. There's just a lot of science that goes into agriculture, which is why I just want to be constantly learning and finding new ways to plant. So I would say I noticed and I learned a lot of things when it comes to the biochemistry and microbiology. And the more I grow in this industry, I noticed that there's just this we are interconnected, you know, there's just this network of things that's happening in the industry because you need a biochemist at some point, you need a microbiologist at some point. I mean, the food industry is so large. If you're working with food, these are the type of people that you're probably going to come across, you know. So yes, I noticed a lot of things that are really going to help me. Um, but yeah, I don't really think I would work in corporate in any of these industries, honestly. I'm a farmer. I'm a farmer and I've accepted this. But yes, I think we do need biochemists and microbiologists in the industry.
So, farming's, from what I hear, quite a lot of work. A lot of time is spent bent over in the sun, getting dirty, carrying heavy stuff. Got to get up early, stay up late, and
Oh
you
man.
you think it's better to do that than be in an office.
I need to be outside. I need to be outside. I don't think I could be a boss babe in a chair all day, 8 hours in a chair all day. I don't think I could do it. I'm not judging anyone who could. We're not the same with different people, but yeah. And I've noticed that over the years, I need to find the balance. If farming has sort of forced me to handle both worlds because I'm running the business myself. I'm the farm manager. I'm sometimes I'm part of the labor, I'm the accountant, I'm the business strategist, I'm part of the marketing team, I'm the marketing team myself. So I need to sometimes sit down with my laptop and get some work done. And I realize I really don't enjoy that. And I think if I do ever go commercial, God willing, I go commercial, I really need to employ people that can stay in the office and do the work, because honestly, I belong outside. I do not belong inside.
So there's a little bit of an office job present no matter what you're doing these days. Um,
Yes.
what would be the difference for you with going commercial? How would that change the way you do things?
Oh man, it would change the business entirely, man. It would really require a lot of work, more labor, more land, more funds. But just most importantly, like really more work. Like currently, I'm working with a mentor who's mentoring small scale and commercial farmers, and he's been able to help me along the way and explain the differences, because I always say that I need bigger land. I'm a small scale farmer, but I really want to go commercial, and it's just been such a blessing to have him, because he's been able to, I wouldn't sort of prepare me for going commercial, but sort of let me know about the things that I need to be aware of. It's not a small decision to make. Going commercial means more contracts. Going to have formal contracts with many retail stores. These retail stores will be relying on you for fresh produce. It also means more labor, like I mentioned. So a lot of people are relying on you, whether you make the profit or not, whether you produce a crop or not. You need to pay them. So a lot of families will be relying on you. So yeah, I think it would really come with a lot. Uh, but you're never really prepared for growth. Honestly, I have been complaining over the years about how difficult farming is, but when I look at the things that I've learned because of the difficulties, it has really grown me into becoming a more strategic and a more resilient and strong farmer at a young age. So I wouldn't say that I'm prepared for commercial farming, but I think whatever I face when I get there is probably going to shape me into being a better farmer and entrepreneur. So, yeah.
So do you think that if you made that step, would you be a little bit more hesitant about things like taking a risk on certain crops at certain times a year with that added responsibility?
I would have to be very strategic about it. We're currently doing companion planting, which is planting more than one crop on the same piece of plot. Sometimes an intercropping. So this is one of the sustainable practices that we're currently doing. And the advantage is that you are planting more than one crop. So if the other crop doesn't do well, you obviously get to sell the other one crop that will do well. And in most cases, planting in that way sort of like minimizes the risk, so that if the other crop doesn't do well, you still get to sell some of the crop and get the cash flow. So farming really needs you to be strategic, and I've noticed that you can't plant the same thing in the same type of crop, but going commercial sometimes requires you um, to plant the same crop on a larger scale. But I think it's really possible when it comes to companion planting and finding just sustainable ways of of going about commercial farming while still making ends meet. Really, it's just there's just a lot of science behind it. You really need to be strategic, because I always talk about commercial, and people start asking me questions that, but you're really into organic farming, you're really into sustainable farming. Going commercial sometimes means that you now need to switch into using chemicals, using synthetic fertilizers that might damage the soil. These are things that you really need to consider and sit down with experienced people that have been in the industry for a long time and ask them, how do I manage this? Because as farmers, I feel like it's really our responsibility to not only produce food, but to also sort of like work with mother nature and preserve some of the resources and not damage the environment. So yeah, it would be a really big decision, but it's something that I'm really looking forward to, actually, because I love this field. I love the work. I'm not saying that I love the risk and problems that come with it, but yeah, they just really make you grow as a person.
Yeah, well, that's the so when you take a risk in a commercial enterprise, you're obviously you want to make money from it and you want to be successful, but there's a deeper meaning there where when we take risks, we have to go through a certain sort of psychological process and contemplate, what do we really want from this? What could we
Yeah,
possibly lose? And what's the most what of all the outcomes, what are we willing to accept? And
yeah,
it's a big part of it is being willing to pick yourself back up if your risk doesn't go the way you wanted it to. And I'm sure there are a lot of ups and downs in your daily life. Nature doesn't do what you want it to all the time, I'm sure.
exactly, exactly. Farming is an occupation that really requires faith. Honestly, you can never just control the weather. You can't even control the soil. You can't control the crop. You just put in the seed and you trust God. Honestly, you just trust God.
Do you know many other people your age who are this enthusiastic about farming?
Oh, yes. I've just been so grateful to have a large social media following, which has resulted in me meeting one of the most passionate farmers around the country, all over the continent, actually. Africa has a lot of young farmers. Africa has a lot of young farmers who are passionate, who are putting in the work. And yes, we just need a lot of support, a lot of knowledge. But yeah, it's been amazing, people that are passionate, that are as passionate as me, because when I talk about farming, I really wouldn't stop, honestly. I wouldn't stop talking about farming. So meeting people that resonate has been amazing. Yeah.
Yeah, well, when you're really into something, it's good to have people that you know you're not going to annoy with all of your details and inside information that you want to talk about all the time.
Yeah.
Um, do you have a community of people that you rely on, like in real life?
Yes, I have I wouldn't say a lot. I have two mentors, and because I recently did a project sometime last year, I've been able to mentor a few of the young people around in my rural area, and they're also passionate about farming. So yes, I've just been meeting a lot of people. God has been good because I've met a lot of people that are as passionate and who are willing to learn and put in the work. And it's just been a pleasure being around them, honestly. Yeah, we visit each other's farms, we motivate each other, we even share resources at times because, yo, times are tough. Farming in South Africa right now. But yeah, it's been really great connecting with people who share the same values.
And is can you sort of rely on these people to talk to you whenever things are not going the way you want them to with the farming?
Oh yes, man. I vent a lot to farmers more than friends. I vent a lot to farmers more than friends because some of the problems I face, they've either faced them or yet to face them. So that's how we make each other grow. But yeah, I complain a lot, especially to my mentors, man. I think the minute I start calling my mentor and he sees my name ringing, he already knows what problem is Sinethemba facing today. Yeah.
Well, when you're going to somebody for mentorship, usually you're asking hard questions and you're not coming to them to tell them how good you are right off the start. You have to get good over time. So
Yeah.
I'm sure you're grateful for the relationships that you have with the people who are willing to help you.
Oh, a lot. And it's something that my mentor said a few weeks ago, because he said that he has seen the growth over the years, which really made me happy, because sometimes I feel like I'm just doing this, I'm doing that. I don't know if I'm doing it right. I don't know if I'm still in the right direction or not. But he said that he's really seen some growth, and because he has seen the growth, he's been recommending me to other institutions and organizations, and that has really motivated me, in a way, because in this industry sometimes you do need outside assurance. I mean, you know what you're doing, you love what you do, you're passionate about it, you're seeing that it's doing well and it's growing, but sometimes you need someone to tell you that actually I've seen the growth, and I'm recommending you and to other organizations, because I think I now fully trust you. So yes, it's been really good.
The friends that you have who aren't into farming, what do they think about your lifestyle?
Yeah. For them, I'm always busy. That's one. I'm always busy. I don't have a lot of time for brunch because I have school now. Come to think of it, I always have school. I'm always doing something. I'm always studying something, because I don't want to say that I feel like I don't have time. I feel like I have time, but I don't want to waste the time that I have. I'm young. At some point, I need to start a family. At some point, I need to retire in farming, and just let my grandkids take over. So I feel like I'm always busy. I know that I'm always busy. So they say that I'm always busy, but I do make time for brunch and going outside with them. But I've been very blessed to have friends that understand that we are on different paths, but we sort of have the same goals, so that kind of like keeps us together. Uh, but yeah, now that I think of it, I met most of my friends in university, and we're doing the same course, and some of them changed into agriculture. So that also played a very important role, because that's how we we connect and we keep each other together. So it's not really difficult for them to understand the field I'm in and how busy I am. So yeah.
Yeah, well, whenever you're a young person and you're looking out into this long future that you have ahead of you, you have to make some choices. You have to think, which direction should I go in that's got a good chance of getting me where I want to go in life. And a lot of people are going to take the route of going and working for somebody else. And some people are gonna, especially now, a lot of people are interested in being entrepreneurs of lots of different kinds and starting their own businesses. And particularly younger people are willing to get that experience now. And it's a very scary thing at times. Um, there's no one to blame whenever things go wrong, whenever you're your own boss. But particularly as a farmer, when anybody who runs their own business or is an entrepreneur, they they're going to make sacrifices that comes with it. Like you no longer get that benefit of saying, "Oh, it's Saturday," or it's a holiday. I get to go have leisure time, because if you do that and you neglect your business, then your business dies, and there's nobody's going to come along and come behind you. But with farming, I suspect it's even worse than most self starters, because you don't get to just take a day off. The farm has demands of you, the crops have demands of you, and you got to go serve those needs first, and that's where your future lies.
Very true, very true. I was talking to someone who wanted to get under my mentorship program recently, and she said that I love farming. I really want to start something small, but I don't want to be in the field every week. I don't want to be in the field every day. And I had to be honest with her and tell her that I don't think it's gonna work. If you're really gonna be farming 3 days per week, it's not gonna happen. These farming is like it's a little baby. It needs to be constantly monitored. It's not just something that you can do when you feel like doing it. You really need to be in the field, and that's why it requires a lot of passion. So yeah, what you said is really true.
Well, you also talk about how the challenges you face of day to day going out and working and taking those responsibilities and the hard labor of it and the uncertainty of things, how that's changed you personally. How do you think that you've developed as a result of taking this responsibility at such a young age? How has it changed you?
Mm. Oh man, I think there's just been a lot of growth. I would say that I'm more mature now. Um, I take time to think about things. I don't make decisions instantly. I used to be very impulsive, but it doesn't work like that in this industry. I mean, sometimes you do have to take decisions quickly, but I think I'm more strategic now, more than ever. Yeah, I think I've really grown not just as an entrepreneur, as a farmer, but as a person. Like I said, man, running your own business at a young age really just shapes you into a different person. You no longer do things the same way. You move differently. That's what they say. You move differently. So yes, I would say there's just been a lot of growth. I'm more mature. Um, yeah, there's a different way I'm dealing with things, and I'm just very grateful. I'm grateful for that. There's some resilience too, because it's a very different industry. It's a very difficult industry, so I think I need that a lot if I really want to go commercial. I don't want to wake up one day and be like, oh man, I'm quitting. I'm quitting this. My soybeans is not doing so well. I'm tired. I'm tired of this. This is stressing me out. No, I think I'm more resilient now. I used to be such a crybaby when I got into this industry until I actually sat down with the OGs. Those are the old people. Um, and yeah, connecting with them at these farming events has really just been so informative for me, because they've shared the most difficult experiences that they faced in their enterprises, and that has really really motivated me into staying in my small operation. So yeah.
Yeah, so your farming has allowed you to sort of build a connection with the generations that came before you, just not only in your family because you've got the family legacy, but also with people who have been farming for a long time. You can step up and maybe they see you a little bit as a legacy for what they do.
Yes, someone did say that. And I sort of felt the pressure, man. I was like, hold on, sort of feeling the pressure there. But yes, I sort of enjoy being around older people. They just tend to not withhold information. They share a lot of knowledge. They share their experiences, and somehow you learn a lot from the experiences. You grow as a person. There's just a different way of running a business. You start running a business in a very different way if you hang around a lot of people that are successful in the industry and that have faced problems, because you now prepare for certain problems, you prepare for the risks, and you are now a strategic thinker. So yes, I would say that, yeah, I chill with the OGs now at events, pretty much enjoy their company. They enjoy mine, because I love asking questions. I love asking the difficult questions and that challenges them. And they start saying, oh, you should come to my farm and visit me, and learn. But yeah, it's been amazing. It's been great.
Yeah, I think a lot of time people who have had a career their entire lives. I know here in the US, it's less and less common for somebody to have one job their entire life. I remember my dad's generation, they would all go get a job whenever they were, teenagers, and that's the same job they had until they retired. And that's really not our way of life as much now as it used to be. It's very rare. But the people who do that, people who um, choose a career for themselves, or they choose a certain skill, or certain technical thing that they do, or even people who have the same piece of land their whole life and they've worked on it and lived there. They I've noticed a lot of the people I've met like that, they you can see a little bit of sadness and loneliness in them sometime, because they've given so much of themselves to this thing. And it's for them, I think it can be rare to find younger people that are really serious about it. There's young people, and everybody who has been young went through this. Young people think about lots of different things they want to do with their life, and they want to try lots of different things, and that's normal and natural, and it's a good thing. But it's rare, I think, when a young person really has a vision for something and they're willing to sacrifice and they're willing to go through the hard parts of it and know that ahead of time. So I'm sure a lot of the older generation of farmers look at your passion and your real interest and your knowledge that you've developed, and it's exciting for them to say, here's somebody that's not going to waste my time and that is actually interested in hearing all of my stories. That's got to be a good feeling. And they've probably been through all the hard times and all the failures that you're going to face. So they're a real wealth for you.
Yeah. I've had um I've had one of the OGs actually invite me to come to their farm, because apparently when I talk to someone about farming, I'm very passionate, but I can't even see that. It has come to a point where I don't even see that I'm that passionate about farming or I'm that serious. But yes, people have been saying that, and and I guess yes. What I'm trying to say is yes. I've heard people say that, but at the same time, it puts a lot of pressure on me. And I feel like I'm just not at a stage where I can say that I've learned enough. You're constantly learning, even as an adult. Um, but yes, I think I make friends with older people because of that. They see the passion, they see that I'm hungry, and they know the sacrifices that I've made to remain and stay in this industry. So yeah.
Does your family, does your view of your farm and the future that you want for it and your business mindset, is that the way your family looked at the farm, or for them was it more of just something for the family?
Yeah. Not really. I think my mom really, really wanted to go commercial as well at some point, because when I came home, I started building, or I'm still building on a very strong foundation. Like the market was set. I only had to approach a few guys when it comes to market, but we already had an opportunity to supply the formal market. So you could see that there was already a strong foundation set. She really wanted to expand, so that's why we got a lease and moved from the family land, because it was not fenced, there was no water, and it wasn't near the road. So yes, for her, it's just always been a business that she really wants to grow. And she said that she really wants to have grandchildren one day that she can see, that will be running the business. So yeah, as much as it had been a homesteading type of situation, and also making money because they were self-employed and no one actually had a formal job, but she really, really worked hard, and she has fought to make it into a very formal business, and she really wants to see it grow one day.
Well, it's the energy of life that's been running through your family, and they've been a part of it and given themselves up to the land, and sure made a lot of sacrifices themselves. And every parent, I'm sure, wants to see grandchildren doing anything, but for you, there's that life continues to flow through you and into the future, and so I'm sure you've given your parents a lot of optimism that that's going to happen because you're a very enterprising young lady, so I think you're going to stick with it. Um, Tell me what do you think your greatest success has been so far?
My greatest success. Wow. It it's not, I wouldn't think, I wouldn't say um it's the rooms that I've been in, but I think my greatest success would be meeting certain people in my life. It's not tied to the money. It's yeah, it's not tied to even the social status I started receiving because of social media, you know. It's just been meeting the people that I've met because they really, really changed my life. They changed the way that I think, they changed the way that I do things. There are certain conversations that I will remember for life and probably replay and share with my kids one day because it has really changed the way that I think, you know, and run my business. Um, so yes, meeting these people has just, I've experienced so much growth, and I think still remaining in contact with these people and having people to rely on and learn from has to be one of my greatest successes. Yeah.
What's the hardest thing you've ever had to do in your life?
The hardest thing I had to do, oh man, it was sitting down with my parents and letting them know that I'm leaving university. That has to be the most difficult thing that you could ever tell your parents because they made a lot of sacrifices to get you through college, and now you're saying that you're leaving university and you want to pursue farming full time. That I think that was one of the most difficult decisions that I had to make. But yeah, I'm so blessed to have parents that understand that farming is a calling. It's not just something that you wake up one day and say, "Oh, I want to do farming." It's like rooted in you. It runs in your veins. It's just not something that you can ignore. And yeah, it was time. It was time for me to leave and come back home. So yeah, that has to be one of the most difficult decisions I have to make because um when I got in and when I got into this industry full time and I started facing problems, I'll sit down with myself and start thinking, did I make the right decision? You know, I need to pay people. It's just getting difficult. It's getting tougher by the day. Did I make the right decision of leaving school? But yeah, turns out I made the right decision.
So your parents, were they my assumption is they were kind of two minds because they wanted to see the farm grow and be a part of the future, but they also wanted you to go have a more conventional life and potentially make more money and have an easier life. So how did they react whenever you told them that?
Yeah, it was a very emotional it was a very emotional, difficult conversation with them, especially for my mom. Yeah, my mom is so sensitive. But I really understood where they came from. There was a lot of sacrifices that were made to get me and my brother, not just through high school, but also university, and which was something that I had been considering the entire time when I was thinking of telling them. But I think for them, they just really wanted me to have a plan B, like I said, something to fall back on days when the farming was not doing so well. It's also difficult to get funding in this industry. Like we've never been funded. So that has been really difficult. They've also never been funded by the government. So I think they knew the hardships. They faced a lot of difficulties, and they just didn't want me to also face them, the hardship that they faced. So they were sort of like protecting me from this industry. So it was very difficult for them because they just wanted me to have something to fall back on, and fund the business, because most farmers in South Africa honestly fund their businesses through work. They have a 9 to 5, and that's how they're funding their farming and enterprises. On weekends, they work at the farm, because getting funding it's very difficult in SA, and it requires a lot of collateral when it comes to applying at banks. Your business needs to be making a certain amount. So yeah, I think it was a way for them. It was a way of protecting me. Yeah.
Do you face fears yourself for the future and the uncertainty of the business you've chosen to go into?
Oh man, all the time, all the time, all the time. And I think what I've learned with my parents actually set me down and said, these are the mistakes that we made in the industry. We don't want you to make the same mistakes. And I think right now I'm also preparing for my kids. I don't even have kids yet, but I'm preparing for kids that I don't have, because that's how difficult and risky this industry is. And I think I've sort of accepted that there are certain things, certain goals that I won't achieve, that my kids will get to achieve, but they'll only get to achieve those goals because of the strong, solid foundation that I'm currently building for them. So I guess in a way, I'm also trying to prepare the business for them in that way, sort of protecting them and sort of trying to acquire all this knowledge, but also resources, infrastructure, and mechanisms so that they get to farming to so that they get to farm easier, and not face some of the difficulties that I'm facing. And I think that's farming, right? You just never really get to reap the fruits or harvest the fruits instantly. You sort of always preparing for the next generation. My kids will be preparing for the grandchildren, for the grandchildren and their grandchildren. You just never really achieve things instantly. So yeah, you just always preparing for the next bloodline. Yeah.
Family is very important to you, isn't it?
Oh, a lot, a lot. I don't know if you did catch that, in our conversation. Family is everything to me, and the business has sort of uh really brought us closer than ever, and sort of made me understand how family is important, how much important the family is. So yeah, like I said, because of farming, I've just really grown into a very different person, As a teenager, I was actually telling my mom the other day that as a teenager, God, I couldn't stand my mom. I couldn't stand my mom. But now, smallest inconvenience, I'm calling my mom. I'm calling my mom. I'm sitting down with her, and I'm just venting to her about almost everything that I'm going through, like each and every day. My mom knows me, like each and every day now. She'll just come to my room, make me a cup of coffee, and immediately I'll just start talking. She doesn't even need to ask me anymore. So yes, family is just something else. My brother is also interested into coming into the family business, so I've been very distant with my brother, but somehow farming has sort of interested him, and now we talk more than we used to talk. So yeah, I think it's just bringing us together, which is really great to see. It's really great to see.
What you do is very stressful. There are a lot of outside forces that you have no control over, but they have a big effect on your life. For example, you're reliant on markets that can change. You could lose customers or have competition. You're heavily reliant on nature, and nature is very cruel, and nature can change everything for you overnight, literally. You rely on your community, you rely on economy and talking about finance and things like banks. All of these things are very powerful forces. So you have a lot of stress and you've got a burden on you for not only for yourself, but for your family and for the future. So I'm curious, um, where do you go in your heart to when all these things confront you?
Oh man, I'm gonna come across as religious, but I really just go to God. I go to God. It's a very difficult industry, and when I came in, um, I involved a lot of heart. Like everything would just go straight to the heart because I love this thing. It's not working. Why is this happening to me? Why am I facing so many difficulties? But I started um, developing this trait of where I had to separate this passion and start running it as a business and be a strategic thinker. Like you mentioned, at some point I lost formal market because I don't have a formal contract with a certain retail store that we are supplying. So now I had produce, the produce was ready. I had to sell, I had to sell and I had to pay people. So I now had to go out there and start selling at farmers markets. I had to start looking at informal markets within my community. And thank God I didn't have to look too far. There's stores there. So I started supplying them. So, yeah, I really just go to God. Um, at the same time, I would say that I lock myself in my room and I just start thinking because you do get anxious in this industry. There's just a lot of fear, and when things go wrong, um, you may talk to people but still feel the weight. So I just lock myself in, and I just ask God, man. Probably sleep too and take a nap. When I wake up, I'll definitely make better decisions or come up with a plan. And thank God, I wouldn't say that I have managed to solve every problem that I've faced in this industry, but um, I've managed to find an alternative and keep going. Yeah.
Have there been moments when you've broken down or you wanted to quit?
Lot, a lot of moments, a lot of moments. And that's why I say that I'm just so grateful for God making me meet certain people that know the hardships and that they've been able to keep me grounded. They've been anchors. Um, there were a lot of times that I'm demotivated and I really just want to quit. Like I said, I used to run the business more with heart and less of this. So I had to quickly change that and start uh, thinking like a business person and an entrepreneur, and start leading with both the heart and the brain, which has been very difficult because um, it's a passion. It's a passion, and when things don't go the way that you want, um, it hurts you. It hurts you.
You've chosen to do something difficult in life, and you learned through that choice that in order to succeed, you had to change. You had to actively change and actively do things differently, and that's made you a lot stronger. And I think that's a very that's it's almost a rite of passage for people, particularly younger people, that at some point, if they're going to be serious about anything in life, whether it's their career, their family, or just finding their own peace and happiness, that they have to come to that moment where they look at things and say, it's not the way I wanted it to be, so I can't change the world, so I've got to change myself. And I think that's benefited you quite a bit. And I certainly hope that you're proud of yourself for that.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Yes, I think what you said is very true. Um, yeah, and I I'm hoping that I'm going to be constantly changing and growing because I want to run bigger things, run bigger projects, and I know that's also going to challenge me in a way. But yeah, the challenges really force you to grow into becoming a better person. Yeah.
We're arriving at the end of the time that I've asked you for today. So, how can people find you online? Where do you want people to go?
People should go on my Instagram page, more active there. And my name is Sinethemba Zwane. My handle is Sinethemba_Zwane. And yeah, that's where I share most of my work. And I've just been blessed to meet young people, a community of farmers there, and people that are really inspired to grow or to even start farming. So yeah, that's where people can connect with me.
Excellent. And of course, I'll link those things in the usual spots below. Sine, you're somebody who's chosen to do difficult things and has done it with a smile on her face. Probably not all the time, but now you got a smile on your face. And I think that a lot of people should go look at your Instagram. I always enjoy looking at it. I think it's interesting to see what different things that you're out there doing. And you've chosen to do hard work, and you've chosen to do hard work in a smart way. And I think you're going to be successful, and I hope you're going to be successful. And I'm sure a lot of people can listen to your story and see your social and find inspiration to get up and do their jobs, which probably don't involve getting up super early and digging in the dirt and all those sorts of things that you have to do. So I'm really
Yeah.
grateful to you that you shared your story with me and with everybody who's listening. Thank you so much for coming here.
Thank you so much for inviting me. Yes, I look forward to listening to your other podcasts. I know that you chose amazing, amazing people. I can't wait to listen to their stories and also feel inspired. Inspiring people also need to be inspired to keep inspiring other people. I hope that makes sense. But
It-
yeah, thank you so much for inviting me.
You're welcome. And thank you to everybody who listens today, and we'll talk to you next time.